Welcome everybody to a brand new adventure. We're tapping sugar maple trees, and I'm actually in Minnesota, which is my home state, repping the Mighty Ducks sweatshirt and the Minnesota Gophers hat, and I'm visiting my neighbors. This is Aaron. So we're gonna walk you through the entire process from collection of maple syrup to bottling of syrup. All of the trees that you guys tap are sugar maples, right?
Correct. So we're all only tapping sugar maples here. I think we got about almost 150 tapped around the neighborhood. So 150 is good for now, and we can we've probably have about 40 or 45 gallons at the end of the season.
45 gallons of syrup, not just sap.
No, just syrup.
Right.
So we can collect about 400 gallons of sap in a 2 to 3 day period pretty consistently if it's on higher flow.
That's amazing.
So this tank they filled up
really
I think
cool.
in three collections.
3 collections. So you guys run around in the it's over there somewhere. You guys run around in a Ranger.
Yep, with a bulk or like a 65
with a tank, and then it has a filter on it to catch a lot of the debris.
Yep. So there could be like moths or like mosquitoes or like tree twigs falling in there. So
can you show your boots off?
Look at those boots, dude.
No. Hey, Nala.
They're Lena's boots.
They're as big as your knees.
So we're gonna say hello to the maple trees.
When we started, there was 1.5 foot of snow in here 3 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, temperature-wise, it has to come to above freezing during the day, but below freezing at night, right?
Yep. We say like 25 at night, and like sunny and 40 during the day is like perfect.
But then the bays get a lot of sap.
Yep.
You get a lot of what?
Sap.
What?
Sap.
What?
Sap.
Yep. So we just do 4-gallon plastic bags. They're nice because they're disposable. You don't have to clean them after you're done. You can just get rid of them. But we either use a 7/16 or a 5/16 tap, and basically it just holds it on the bag. And right now we have about 1.5 gallons of sap in this one. As you can see, it's just dripping slowly right now. So that'd be pretty sweet. And it's getting close to the end of the season as the buds are getting close to starting to come out. So some of the trees, I know the buds are almost coming out. So then, you know, you're not going to be maple syruping any longer just because it gets bitter. There's more bacteria and it has a bitter flavor because, yeah, that's just how you know it stops. So sunny out is key here. You get a good southeast exposure of sunlight on a tree. Usually you tap a couple of those trees to see if they start flowing or not. The middle of the tree is dead, but like only the outside, the bark, and then there's like about 1/4 inch going in where the sap comes up. So that's where it's alive. The tree is actually alive, and the sap's flowing through that, coming from the root system and going up to the buds so it can grow leaves eventually. Most deciduous trees, they lose their leaves. So like a maple is deciduous. It's not coniferous, which is like an ever-bearing tree, like a pine tree that keeps needles year-round or their leaves year-round. So they basically don't produce any leaves anymore. They fall off and fall, and in the summer they grow back, and during this period of time they're building the sap to regrow those leaves and build that canopy. The reason why we want that 40-degree weather and night that's like 20 or 25 degrees is it'll build up pressure in the root system, and then after it warms up, the tree will warm up, it'll start sucking in more, and it basically shoots it up faster because there's more pressure built in with that freezing action and then that thawing action.
And what do you do with cats that climb on your sugar maples?
They can just climb on them.
They're allowed to be there. There's no...
They're having fun. They need some attention, I guess. Like I said, you could tell that these are maples just because they have that black here. Like this is where it was scarred. You can see that there's scars there, and then that's where the sap will run over and it'll make the bark turn blacker. As you can see, this is usually pretty normal, but like where it has those kind of more knotty areas, that sap will try to repair itself And like when we do take out the taps, we never re-tap on the same part. We'll take it out, we'll tap over to the side.
Different
or up,
spot.
Different spot, so it'll heal.
And then it will heal like scar.
Yep. So
like
it'll
scar
kind of put
tissue.
it like a scar tissue, just like your skin, like you were.
That's
donating
amazing.
plasma
And
blood.
that's what I said before. I'm like, this is like donating. It's like a blood donation. So how much sap per gallon of syrup are we talking about? What's the ratio?
It's about 40 to 1.
So 40 gallons of sap to 1 gallon of syrup.
That's usually pretty typical. This is a reverse osmosis system. Basically, it filters out all of the water and we get to keep all of like the sugar content. So it does like half the work for us. Instead of boiling down a lot of water out of it, we cut it down to half the time. So it's a really nice system because we just plug it in and it goes and it works. We can turn it on at night. We can do it during the day. So it actually feeds itself into that tank over there. So we can just boil it down and just stoke the fire and let it go. So. And
roughly how much percent sugar of like sucrose is in sap?
So around 3 to 4%, I'm guessing, is pretty typical for most maple syruping. Hopefully we get 7% off of it, taking about half of it out. So we're at about 7% consistency of water to sap. We basically boil it here on this big tank where it has basically troughs and valleys here. So we get like 3 times the surface area. You can kind of see in the pan right there. If not, it's kind of hard to see. But we filter it out of here, and then we're going to bring it into a flat pan to finish and turn it into syrup. So it's more controlled because this can get very rapid and burn very fast. And you can easily destroy your product very easily if you burn it too hot and too fast. So these are the fins in here, and then if the sap from this area can't go into this one, and this one's going to like essentially turn into syrup faster than the other ones because it's kind of flowing in a general process.
So if some of the syrup gets trapped in one of the fins, it might burn.
Correct, because it might be boiling too much and it might turn into syrup at that time. So.
And you mentioned like in the future they actually make make continuous flow pans,
right?
So that it's basically coming out pretty much as syrup at the end,
right?
So this is like the homemade version of like a.
We're gonna editing it every year, so we're gonna add in more fins here, so it'll hopefully at this point get to 219 degrees to turn into syrup. So hopefully it'll boil for like 3 hours, and then by the time it gets over here, it should turn into syrup after like an hour of boiling throughout that process, and then we could take off like a jar at a time or whatever we want to do. So that's our future goal. So we'll see how it works.
To be continued. Yeah.
So right now we're just gonna filter this, and so we have a bunch of like filters. This is a big felt filter outside, and then we're just getting all the niter out of it, which makes it bitter. So basically we'll put it into this big turkey pan, the stainless steel turkey cooker pan, and then we'll bring it over and start boiling it down again.
It's all like a lot of the nutrients that are just like in the tree, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you don't do this for profit.
No.
You just do this strictly as a hobby.
We'll sell some of it so we can recoup some of the money, but because we've put a lot of money in it. I know my brother Dustin's put a lot in making an RO system, these pans and stuff. They're not free. And then like we burn wood and stuff, so it also costs money. Or in some cases you could find stuff for free, but it still costs money usually to haul it or get it there. It's just a fun thing to do with family, friends, show people how to maple syrup, and you get a fun reward at the end. See how dirty that is with all that niter? We don't want that in our syrup. That's got a nice color. Whoa, look at that.
Oh, look how beautiful that color is.
Isn't it gorgeous? It's gonna be red. Here we go. Red burn your eyebrows.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, we didn't introduce you. This is Jordan.
Hello.
Also a Veragnac. Everybody here is like siblings.
We're all Veragnacs. It's not quite floating yet. So what happens is as the more of this boils off, the more dense the syrup becomes. The more dense it becomes, this will start to float. And once it floats at that level, there's a little red line on that, hits that level, and you know it's syrup. Then you're done. Then you start to filter.
And this is a hydrometer?
Yep, 32 is the density level that you want. So it's the sugar content and how dense it is. So the more dense it gets, the more it floats. The less dense, the more water it is, the less it floats. So 219 is syrup, I think.
Like
right?
boiling. The sap itself.
Yeah, so it's probably boiling at like 217-ish right now.
Okay.
And we've got to raise that boiling temperature up 2 more degrees, which is that same 32 hydrometer level. 219 in that level, one and the same. So you see guys do it both ways. What's nice about the gas burner is that you can control the level of the boil and the heat so evenly and not let it go over the top. You can just turn it off instantly if you need to, but
It's getting close.
it's getting close. When this little pocket of bubbles starts touching that little pocket of bubbles, that's pretty close to syrup. So.
Touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good.
One of my new favorite smells. I've never smelled anything quite so pleasant as
You'll
like
start to crave it.
as just the smell of boiling
And
maple
tonight,
syrup.
We will give you some, and you will go home and eat it on vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream? Oh yeah, I should ask about that. What are your favorite ways to
Oatmeal,
consume like syrup?
biscuits.
Wait. what?
Oatmeal, biscuits, anything you can think of.
Vanilla ice cream, granola, strawberries.
Anything you would use honey or sugar on before. Put maple syrup on now.
Pancakes, waffles.
I mean, I put it in my
Bagels
hair.
with cream cheese.
Did you put it in your hair?
It's great beard oil.
Beard oil. Right. You didn't get introduced on camera, did you either?
I don't know. Hi.
32.
Red is 32.
This is a pan of syrup. Officially maple syrup.
I need a pancake.
Wow, look at that. Oh, it's all just sticking to my finger.
Yeah, I told her $1 an hour. So, if she buys it.
Wow.
Whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine.
So this is the final step. So Hannah, do you like jarring maple syrup like this? Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
boil it, so it disinfects.
So that to disinfect the lids,
Yep.
pop it on, fill up an 8-ounce jar with syrup.
Like these ones are nice to give away.
Yeah.
The pints are nice to just use because quarts get large unless you have a large family.
But so that's pretty much the whole process.
That's it.
Almost entirely from start to finish.
Start to finish.
In one day.
Yeah.
We didn't actually tap a tree today, but other than that, and I'm surprised that I've grown up in Minnesota for my entire life and I haven't like actually come and sat down and learned this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When we
Thank
started,
you.
it was like, oh yeah, this is it. This was fun.
This is how many years have you done this?
This is 10 years, but we took a 3-year break.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But a decade.
2010.
Pretty much a decade. There you go. So we're celebrating a decade of maple syrup traditions in Minnesota. So yeah, thanks for coming along the ride and come on another adventure soon.
Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine.